we should vote. And no candidate is perfect. So no matter where you lean on the political spectrum, I think it's something that we should participate in.
Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you. Welcome back, folks. This is episode 124. It's about payroll. It's also about your paycheck. And before we get into it, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. It's the first week of September. Everything is good. And look, we're in a new time of the year. I think fall for all the people that like autumn,
that
and
that
pumpkin
also live
spice
in the north.
lattes,
Pumpkin spice was out in August.
But look, now if you live in an area that the leaves change and stuff like that, you might be seeing that. So like this might be a good time for a lot of people. I'm not really big on pumpkin anything, but
not even pumpkin pie.
Not
you
really.
Like sweet potato pie.
I like apple pie more than sweet potato pie.
No doubt.
I like apple more than
that's your favorite
like
pie.
Cobbler. Yeah, apple pie, like a good apple pie, is like
that's a good
top for me.
Yeah. I like all kind of pies. And I've discovered blueberry pie when I moved down here. Me and the fam used to go upstate in New York. When we was in New York for the fall. We used to love to go upstate and get all kind of pies and all kind of goodies and stuff. It was great.
So let me ask you, you like minced meat pie?
I don't know if I've ever had that. That's like what Russell was saying. What was it, pie and mash? He said over there.
Yeah, something like that.
And it was like a mince meat pie or something. I'm not sure if I've ever had it. I've had like maybe I've definitely had shepherd's pie. Dang gummit. What was I gonna say? Business wise, and this is the last month of the quarter. Q3 is about to end. This is it, right? And then we're in fourth quarter. We're there.
We're in the red zone.
What else? Football starts this week. I had to look it up. I was like, wait a minute, I don't miss no games. Thursday.
Yeah, college is off and running.
College started.
NFL is off and running.
Change my glasses. What you like this year for NFL?
Honestly, look, until somebody knocks off the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, I don't look. My team, I'm gonna root for my team.
You're still a Miami fan, right? You're still a Dolphin fan. That's not going to change. You wouldn't be a fan if you didn't root.
But I'm going to root for my team. But until somebody knocks off Mahomes and them boys.
It's true. It's true. You got the dethrone. They got to dethrone them. I'm still riding with my Giants, man. Although Giant Nation is really upset about Daniels, we want to see DeVito. Daniel Jones, yeah. I don't even know his name. It's tough, man. He was thinking it up in preseason, and it's tough to watch.
The Giants are trying to stick behind their choice, right? They decided to pay him all that money,
and then
so now, they
had a chance to get a QB, but because I was watching, they did a Hard Knock few episodes, or they had a series in the Hard Knock series in HBO or whatever. So it was cool to see that behind the scenes and like the money that plays into the decision making. This is our budget. If we give Saquon his money, we're not going to be able to get these other tools we need. If we go out and get quarterback, we've wasted the money on Jones. Like it was interesting to see that part, and I was like, okay, I get it. But folks get mad, right? Because it's millions and millions of dollars, and it's just spend the money, But it's not as easy as that. So, But yeah, no, I'm a football fan, so I'll be looking forward to it. Thursday night kickoff, and honestly, this is the first time that I think that I'll be interested in seeing a position, like a player. Like I'm following a player to another team, Saquon to Philly. I can't like Philly, but I could definitely like to see Saquon win. Make sure he does his thing. Like as long as he don't. I don't know with the Giants and how they're doing. I don't know, but who knows? Yeah, what else, man? What else is going on?
See. That's about it, man.
Getting caught up into the politics at all?
Yeah, just I'm watching, and look, this is one of those years that you may not have a candidate that you particularly lean to either way. And so you have to choose. I think it's our civic duty to vote.
Yeah, for sure.
we should vote.
Mhm.
And no candidate is perfect. So no matter where you lean on the political spectrum, I
Yep.
think it's something that we should participate in. So, but I don't know. I'm listening to it. It's just me. Politics is just like it's like a circus, man.
Wow.
It's the clown show. But how do you feel?
I haven't heard enough of either politics to other than little news bite that I have for today. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
really, and that I found by accident. Once upon a time, I used to pay attention, but I just got jaded. I still go and vote, but I think I go with popular instead of just the politics. My wife has a big influence, right? If she feels strong or something, I'm like, all right, babe, cool. That's what I'm gonna go with. My daughter's being is interested in it this year, so that's cool. My oldest anyway, so that was
Mm-hmm.
cool to see her kind of paying attention and research, and so I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say, and I think a lot of people are excited for, is the potential for our first female
Female,
president.
absolutely,
And
absolutely,
I think people are excited for that potential. And
absolutely.
I think if she is elected, I think that is going to open the door for more women to be elected in the
Hmm.
future.
Yep,
You
and in
know,
higher positions, and
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
It's good.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into this pay news.
All right.
Where are we in here? Where is my stuff? Oh, you're up first.
Yeah,
What do
so
you
I
got?
have two quick articles I want to discuss. The first
Okay.
article is from Pay.org, and it's about earned wage access programs, and that there are
Mm.
changes coming. Right. So
Hmm.
the the first article by Pay.org, it was published on August 27th, and but it says that on July 18th of this year, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau (CFPB)
Hmm.
proposed a landmark interpretive rule that would likely transform the landscape of employer integrated earned wage access and on demand pay. This proposal states that paycheck advance products made to employees by vendors and providers are loans,
Yes, I
which
heard it.
creates substantial implications for both the employees and employers. And if, and more likely, when the guidance is final. So it looks like this thing is going to pass. And so
Hopefully
that's going
not.
to change. Look, and that's going to change the game. Look, we know how the government and it works sometimes.
Hmm.
There's a way for, they feel like there's a way for them to collect money from the people. Then 9 times out of 10, the government has a history of possibly doing that, right? This is going to hurt the employee, I think,
Yeah, basically.
substantially because
Yeah,
some employers might not even want to enroll in earned
they
wage
won't.
access now
They don't want to
because
do
of
it
this.
now,
Yeah.
and there's zero impact financially to them.
I could go down a rabbit hole here, but maybe some they're behind the scenes. There's been some employers, some people that are um, against earned wage access, trying to push this thing to make sure that this happens to stop it from going. Because that's part of the political arena too. Is those people who's in the back, those influencers and those lobbyists making these noise behind the scene.
Yep.
So it could be the case.
Yep.
So my next one is a quick article from CNN.com. And over Labor Day weekend, there was a strike by more than 10,000 U.S. hotel workers
Oh wow.
all across America, all the way from Boston to the West Coast and Hawaii.
What are they striking
They're
about?
they're about their union and a new contract.
Yep.
Basically, they're in union talks
Yep.
for a new contract. They're not liking what I guess the company is proposing.
Yeah. Must be that time of year. AT&T's right up the block, and they've been striking for weeks here too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Can't
all.
keep
That's
it.
all I have. What do you got?
I got an interesting one where I was looking at some kind of like paycheck information, trying to find some folk, what can we what nuggets can we give for the folks that get a
Mm-hmm.
paycheck in the US. So I came across the politics of it all and how Donald Trump will impact our paycheck versus how Kamala Harris will impact our paychecks. And basically, Donald Trump aims to extend the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which eliminates taxes on tips and Social Security income and lower the corporate tax rate. Vice President Kamala Harris proposes increasing tax benefits for families and raising the corporate tax rate to offset costs of expanding tax credits. And then the way it breaks down is that Trump's plan basically helps all, but mostly the top 1% and even 0.01%. So, AKA the richest people in the country. And Harris's benefits the lower income, but hurts the 1% and 0.01%. Both plans add to the US debt regardless of their offset planning, because they have a plan where here's where we can spend it, but here's where we can make it back. Regardless, it's going to impact the US debt. And then experts say that both plans will lead to a higher interest rate or higher interest rates, and that neither plan addresses the overall economic situation of the country. So just something to think about as we move into this election, and maybe it gives people things to pull on and research. And because at the end of the day, like we were just saying a few minutes ago, right? Like it's lesser of two evils. What is it that what are you going to resonate and connect to more than the other?
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So
Great,
let's
man.
pay the bills. Yeah, man. Let's pay the bills. Shout out to Time Track Go. Time Track Go has introduced an innovative new feature designed to simplify time tracking for both exempt and non exempt salary employees. This feature aligns with the recent changes in the Fair Labor Standard Act for salaried employees.
By automatically calculating standard 40-hour weeks and accurately determining overtime when necessary, TimeTrack Go ensures precise employee time while maintaining accurate PTO balances. Additionally, the system can identify instances where non exempt employees may not have reached that 40-hour threshold. To learn more, please contact TimeTrack Go at 888 321 9922 or visit www.timetrackgo.com. That's TIMETRAK go.com. Let's go.
Let's go. We got to we got to put some music behind that. Boom, boom, bam,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
All right, folks, let's get into our main topic today. And we're doing good on time, by the way. We're given a new format today, and I'm going to save some banter for the end. We got a little bit of extra time. But anywho, we're doing good. Our main topic today, for those of us looking to learn something about New York payroll. So basically, New York State payroll, but specifically for me, I have some items for New York City, and breaks down like this. I have NYC retail employers with 20 or more employees, and this could be at one location or multiple locations. So if you got 5 locations and there's 4 employees each, you're included. Or if you just have 20 people at one spot, or any variation of the such. So just that's with these laws, right? They have to always encompass who's included in this, and that's what it is. It's an NYC retailer with 20 or more employees, regardless of locations, very spread out. So basically, it's the first one is a no on-call scheduling. All of these were new to me. I had no idea that these existed, and I even thought about it. I was like, oh, dang, man, if we was in NYC, if I was back in NYC, I would have hit Times Square and did research and got some polls. Do you know this about do you work in retail? Do you know this? Because I would love to do a poll and see if they even know this. So anywho, at retailers, there's a no on-call scheduling. So you can't require employees to be available to work without a set schedule. This means no on-call shifts where employees might have to come in short notice. A 72-hour notice must be applied. You must give employees at least 72 hours notice if you need to cancel their shift, add hours, or make any changes. If a change is made, the employees must consent in writing. Okay. Posting schedules. A hard copy of a work schedule must be posted at least 72 hours in advance at the workplace, meaning 72 hours in advance of that schedule week. So if they do it 2 weeks at a time, 72 hours before that first day of the new schedule, it has to be posted. Employees are allowed to request a copy of their schedule and can refuse to work shifts that aren't included in the posted schedule. In the show notes, there's some great links to law firms, NYC stuff. It's great research in the show notes. If this piques your interest and you're like, wait a minute, that's not happening for me, go to the show notes, read up on it, do what you got to do. The second one I have is for NYC fast food chains. This is with 30 locations, 30 plus locations. If you manage a fast food restaurant that's part of a chain with 30 or more locations across the US, here are the scheduling rules. So now that makes it a little higher because it could be a fast food chain and it's only one location. This may not apply, but it's going after the bigger McDonald's, so to speak. I'm not targeting McDonald's, but that's an easy reference. So here are the rules for these NYC fast food chains. Good faith schedule estimate. When hiring a new employee, you must provide a good faith estimate of their weekly work hours and give them their work schedule at least 14 days in advance. Schedule change premiums. If you make any changes to the schedule with less than 14 days notice, you have to pay the employee extra. The amount ranges from $10 to $75, depending on how last minute the change is and what type of change it is, meaning adding or subtracting hours, changing the shift, or canceling the shift. This is a really good reference. Again, links in the show notes because there's a grid that shows you, oh, it's $10 for this infraction, $25 for that, $75 for that. If you're an NYC fast food chain that and you qualify, go look this up. It's great info. Ooh, this one I like. This called they call it clopening. There's a clopening ban.
Mm,
They spell it CLOPEN. They're basically smashing the words closing and opening together, clopening,
mm-hmm.
but they have a clopening ban where employees cannot be required to work back-to-back closing and opening shifts less than 11 hours apart, right? And you may know people, right, that, oh, I got to close tonight at 11 and then I got to be back at 6 to open. What? I
Yeah.
don't know if the hours meet, but so there it's less than 11 hours apart unless they consent in writing. So that is the caveat, that is the loophole. If they do work such shifts, you must be paid an additional $100. Okay. And the last one is offering additional hours. If you have open shifts, you need to offer them to current employees before hiring new workers. Very interesting, right? Because a
Mm,
lot of times some folks want OT. And it's, wait a minute, why are you getting a new part timer? I need the overtime. I need the extra hours. I want to go full time, whatever that might be. Again, the links are in the show notes, really good links. And that is what I have for today for New York State, more specifically, New York City.
great stuff, man. Nice info.
Yes, sir.
So my two topics I'm going to begin now. The first one is for remote work and tax nexus complications. So the issue is with the shift to remote work that was accelerated by the pandemic, introduce new tax nexus complexities for employers. So in New York, there's a rule that's called the convenience of the employer, which means that if an employee works remotely outside New York for their own convenience rather than the employer's necessity, their income may still be subject to New York state tax. This complicates payroll calculations and tax withholdings, particularly for businesses with remote employees across multiple states.
Yep.
So, we as payroll pros need to be careful and make sure that we navigate these rules to ensure that accurate taxes are being taken and that we're compliant and that we avoid any issues that may lead to double taxation. How do we make sure that we review our remote work policies? We want to regularly assess and update those policies to align with our current tax regulations and ensure clarity on the rule, the convenience of the employer rule. We want to implement any advanced payroll systems, invest in software that can handle the multi state tax calculations and automate compliance with those state specific tax laws.
Got
We
it.
may have to consult tax professionals, right? Get
Yep.
some third party help from a tax pro. And we want to make sure that we involve the employee by communicating with them. We want to inform the remote employees of any potential tax implications of their work location and also provide some guidance on how it may affect their payroll. The second topic I have is updates to pay transparency laws.
My favorite.
So, New York's 2024 pay transparency law mandates that employers disclose their salary ranges and job postings, which reflects a broader trend towards pay equity and transparency. What we must do as the payroll pros is ensure that the payroll data aligns with those disclosed salary ranges, addressing any discrepancies. Because look, if we're manually entering in those new hires or whatever they are, you got to make sure that those rates are in correctly to make sure that the people's pay is correct. Because as we know from that stat that we have, if there's one or two errors in the person's first couple of paychecks, they're going to start looking for a job. Okay,
Yep.
these guys can't get my pay right. I'm out. So, how do we ensure that and make sure that we're good? We update the job postings, even if it's not your job. Maybe you can check with somebody in HR, and I'm sure that the person in HR is doing their job great, but it doesn't hurt to communicate with them. So to
Yeah.
make sure that those job postings are updated. We want to make sure that our payroll data aligns. So we want to review and adjust payroll systems to ensure that they reflect those disclosed salary ranges and correct any discrepancies. We want to train our staff, train payroll, train HR, educate our teams on the new transparency requirements and best practices for compliance. And Brian's favorite is conduct regular audits.
Yep.
Perform regular audits on pay data to ensure consistency and adherence to transparency laws. So those are the things I had.
That's dope, man. For both of these things, they have impact to the employee as well. So as employees, we got to know, hey, if you work in New York and they grant you a remote situation, it doesn't mean that it's going to be to your advantage tax wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your nexus is still in New York, right? So
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind. And then the transparency laws. What I urge folks is that yeah, it may be, it's two things. One thing to the employer, don't get slick. I remember how Dave salary.com from HR Data Labs was on the
Mm-hmm.
show, and he was teaching us that sometimes they get slick and do, oh, 0 to 300,000 is the job range that they're posting for the pay transparency. No, don't get slick. That's not what it is. You have to be more a realistic window. So for
Mm-hmm.
employees, you could really see, you're gonna know when you go to look for jobs what that range is. And then for employers, just be right. Don't try to be slick. But
Yeah.
yes,
Shout
good
out to
stuff,
David
man.
Turetsky over at
Turetsky, my boy
HR
David
Data Labs.
Turetsky. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. One more thing for employees. This does not mean that you still should be sharing you're allowed to, but please, that's my caveat. You can share gross, but don't get into sharing your net because everybody's gross to net is going to be very different. You can make the
Mm-hmm.
same grosses and get very different nets. That's my call out when it comes to pay transparency laws for employees. Just be careful there. That's it,
All
man.
right. So the safe talk question to close out our episode. In regards to the New York state of mind, do you think it helps or hurts more in the professional or business world?
What do you mean by the New York state of mind?
Look, because for me, New Yorkers, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to articulate it in a way that, from what I heard you say and other people that I've known throughout my career and my life, and other friends and family that I have that are from New York, live in New York currently, there's like a mindset that, what was that lyric in that song say? If I can made it here, I can make it anywhere. There's a mentality of I'm going to work hard, I'm going to grind, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to do what I got to do no matter what. So that is the New York state of mind. Hey, I got this. It's like almost like a confidence, right? But some people could
It
see
is.
it in a different way. Some people might see it as arrogance.
Yeah.
You've heard some people say that like, people from New York are arrogant because they
Yep.
had a bad interaction with someone that was,
No doubt.
you
No
know what I'm
doubt.
saying? So that's what I mean in terms of the New York state of mind. Do you think it helps someone or hurts someone more in the professional or business world?
It's a really good question because it could be both. Because it's just like you said, arrogant. Like when I first came down, right? Remember where we worked together, I got the
Mm-hmm.
whole, oh, you're so aggressive. You're so aggressive. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I was just like trying to
Passionate.
hold somebody accountable while I was aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Passionate.
opinion? Look, here's a great dynamic because it's like you met me fresh out of New York. What did you think of me?
So when we first friends, I believe that it was with you. Now that I know you, I know what it was.
No, fresh
It was a
take.
standard.
What
Well, I'm
what's
trying
your
to let
take
me
now?
explain. Let me
Oh, okay,
explain. Let me
okay.
explain. So I now know that it was a standard that you have for people. Hey, you can do this. You got this, and it wasn't always articulated that way. It was
Right.
like it was come off as you need to get your sugar honey iced tea together.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? You need to
right.
get it together, and that's how it came across. It was really meant to, hey, You got this. Believe in yourself. Get your mind right. Stand up. Stop being so soft. Stop being whatever. Come on, knuckle up, buck up. It was like that. And I think if people who don't know people personally, then they will like, oh, that dude's a jerk, an a hole, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's really from a place of I have this standard, and I'm gonna hold myself to that, and everybody that's in my circle that I'm close to, and him and my employees, the people that I work with, I'm gonna hold people to that standard. So for
Right.
me, I think that's what it was, right? I didn't know you personally, so until I got to know you personally, then I knew, and then I heard you articulate that, then I knew, oh, that's what he means. He said because
Right.
basically you care a lot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you want people to do the best. You want it's a spirit of excellence.
So I was aggressive in the beginning until you got to know me.
No, I don't think you were aggressive, bro. Not
Oh,
no no
okay.
no no. I don't
Okay.
think you were like. I don't think you were like that. I
I
think
think
it's more.
I try to
Look,
treat you guys differently because that was an interaction that I was having with somebody else on a different department,
mm,
same team, cross-functional team, and I was just trying to hold somebody accountable. And then somebody was like, "Oh, you're so aggressive," but
look. Of course, we're men in a industry that's predominantly female. So if we get loud, if we get look, it
it
could
was
be
another
true,
male
right?
that said it to me though. It was an all
Oh,
male
okay.
interaction. It
Oh
was an
well,
all male interaction. Oh, whoa, it's beeping.
I'm
And that no, the one I'm talking about. You're right. You're right. I do have
mhm.
that something I've learned for sure. So to answer the question for folks, I think it's definitely a help provided that you are not rough around the edges. And I think that's with anything, right? Business
Mhm.
requires a certain amount of tact, politics, but definitely, I think definitely from New York, it definitely helps when you go outside of New York. It definitely helps to have because we have a hustle, we have a grit, we have a way about us that was just we spark at it and just work at a different level of output for some, for the ambitious, right? Because still lazy people in New York too, so it doesn't, it's not everybody.
So it's almost like that thick skin,
Yeah. Oh, definitely
right?
New York. Yep.
Right. So you could take somebody busting your chops, or you can take somebody giving you critique
Oh yeah.
and not cause you to be like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm chucking the
Right.
deuces. My boss was like very stern with me because I made a mistake. I'm
Yep.
out. Or whatever. Like, I think it could be interpreted as that
Yeah.
as well.
Hmm.
And um, I also think that it's how you deliver it. You can always keep that New York state of mind. I think you have it now. I just think the way you deliver it, you
Yes.
you play to your audience now.
Absolutely.
You play to your
And
audience.
that's the
Like
tact of it. You
yes,
gotta know, right? Yeah.
yep. You
Yeah.
play to your audience now. So there may be a moment where Brian says something to me and he's like more direct with me than somebody else that he knows because he and I have that rapport now that he can. I'm not saying I necessarily like it all the time,
No,
right?
exactly. Nobody does really.
But that's what it is, right? I think it's good. So for
It comes
me,
from a good place. Yeah, I don't always deliver it right.
I think it can help you
Hmm.
drastically help you in business and in the professional world. And it's just about making sure that you don't allow it to, I guess, go into overdrive.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, it's just balancing out things. So to answer the question, I think it does help in business. Again, if it's not if you're not a New York term, if you're not OD with it, but the kids don't say that no more. They got a whole nother slang and language out now. But yeah, no doubt, man. So that's a good one. And shout out to the rest of New York State because we just talked about the city really, but people forget there's a whole big old state around the city.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
and
bro.
before we go, shout out to Brittany Fur, a nice shirt, being creative
Shout
with
out,
her
Brittany. I'm gonna
payday
get mine
shirt.
soon.
Go check her out on LinkedIn and check out her merch. She's very creative. Um,
Hmm.
is dope. I love it. So yeah, man, I think that's it. Look, we did a great job, folks. We take a little minute here and go a little over. We're shortening the format. We're making this a little bit more digestible, a little bit more deliverable for you. Love it, man. Cool. We only went a few minutes over. We'll get better and better. So thanks for hanging in with us, folks. Until the next time, peace. We love you.
before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.